Hey everybody, welcome back to Rusty Wrench Restorations. So it's the end of December 2024. I think it's the 28th today. In less than a month, January 27th, was the day that I started this channel. So we're 11 months since the beginning. I'm at 749 subscribers, and I can't remember what the video count was, 130, 140, somewhere in there. But anyway, I was hoping to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark before the 1 year anniversary, but it's kind of slowed down a bit, which is understandable. You know, tractor fixing and restorations is kind of a little niche thing. It's not like everybody's waiting in line to subscribe to the channel. So understandably so, but we try to add some other things in throughout the year. You know, plow days, tractor shows. I want to try to get out this year some more and try to show some other people's collections. I know last year we went to go see Ricky's collection of tractors, so hopefully I can get with a few other people and see if we can't see what they have in their stable and what their plans are. So, what's up for 2025? The John Deere 70 skid steer. That's going to be my major project. The plan is to completely strip this thing down to the bare frame. We're going to go through, clean out the internal fuel tank. We're going to go through and remove the drive motors, drive pumps, pull the arms of the bucket, the roll cage, the engine, the whole nine. So long term, I plan on keeping this skid steer. I've had this in the past. I sold it and was able to trade to get it back again. It's just really handy for me here. It fits in a small area. I can turn it around inside my enclosed area on the side of my house. And I can use it for moving heavy objects, which is really kind of the key of why I always need to have something with a loader. Though I do enjoy having the bucket because it's fun to go help out friends, and you know, if they need dirt work or mulch moved or whatever. Another project we'll be working on probably sooner than later will be building a lift fixture for the front of this. This does have a type of quick quick attach or quick disattach, whatever it is. Like the newer tractors do, so I think it'll be pretty easy to be able to make a couple different implements for it, whether it be forks or the lift fixture for the front. So that's coming up. We'll do a little welding and fabrication in that video. The engine rebuild in this, it's got a 2-cylinder Kohler engine, so we'll go through and get that freshened up. Obviously some paint. We're going to replace every single hydraulic hose in here. As you saw when I got this tractor back, day one from unloading it in my trailer, bringing it under this covered area, it blew out a hose and blew oil all over the hot engine and almost started a fire, so I don't want to deal with that. The other big reason for me wanting to change all these hydraulic hoses, well, I love to spend money on tractor parts. No, that's not it at all, but they're very expensive. It's probably going to be around the $1,500 to $1,800 range for hoses just for this skid steer. Hopefully it's less, but that's what I'm planning on. But it's a hydrostatic, right? So the engine runs a hydraulic pump. The hydraulic pumps oil to hydraulic motors, which turn gears, which in turn turn the left 2 wheels or the right 2 wheels, right? So hence the term skid steer. If one of those hoses blows out, one, it's going to make a huge mess all over the place wherever I am. And two, I cannot just like put this in neutral and push it back onto my trailer. It doesn't work like that. It'll become basically hydraulically locked at that point, and I'll have to drag it. The only way that you can get these to disengage from that hydraulic drive is to physically remove the hydraulic lines, and then you can roll it. And again, at that point, not only did you make the mess from blowing the hydraulic line, but as the tires turn those hydraulic motors backwards, it's going to pump any oil out that's inside those motors. So it's not something that I want to have to deal with. I believe I replaced the lift cylinder seals. I may have done the tilt cylinders, I'm not sure. But none of them leak right now, so I'm not too concerned with that. So yeah, lots of things coming up. Electrical, hydraulics, engine, paint, fabrication, lots of good stuff. So if you haven't seen some of the other videos, you'll be able to see some new ones. So for today's video, one, I need to reposition this. I had pushed it kind of to the back of my storage area so that I had more room up here to work on things. But being as the engine's in the back, I need to remove that and get the engine out. I need some more room to work back there. So I'll take you on a quick little tour back there so you can see that. So I have a gate here that goes to my backyard, and right now I have about a 3-foot gap between the fence and where the engine bay is. So these panels are removable. They'll unbolt and then the engine will slide out, but I need some more room to work with there. So one of the other things that I hadn't really taken into consideration is the roll cage. When I originally bought this tractor, it did not have a rollover protection system on it. To me, it's very important, especially on a skid steer. It's easy to tip or roll, so I wanted to have that security. Unfortunately, they're hard to find, and the ones that I could find are in questionable condition or usually on the other side of the country. So shipping something like that big and heavy is a bit awkward. So I did in fact fabricate this roll cage on my own, and it seems to work quite well. I haven't rolled it yet, but I do trust my welds enough that I think it's going to protect me in that aspect. So I've got some cleaning up to do over here. We still have the Husky 3-wheel tractor, which is yet another project I need to get to. And I've just kind of got a mess over here of wood and then, you know, leaves that have fallen. So I want to kind of get this area cleaned up today. I want to start the skid steer and pull it forward so that I do have that additional room to work behind it. And I'm going to take the bucket off. 2 reasons. One, I don't need it right now. It's got to come off to get you know, metal work done and cleaned up and painted. Plus, I want to be able to access the back of the bucket to see what this quick attach system looks like, so that I can kind of fabricate the same thing for the lift fixture that I want to build. And when I say lift fixture, if you go back to my 420 videos, you can see there's a square lift fixture that's got D-rings and hooks and stuff on it for chains, and it just makes it a lot easier for moving parts and equipment around. So I've referred back to some other tractors here. I just talked about the 420, the skid steer back when I got it. To make things easier, my channel is set up with playlists. So you can click on that playlist button and you can click on 430 crawler, 420 loader tractor, skid steer. We've got the diesel 301, 300, 305. I don't know. We just need to pick a name for it, I guess. But that way there you can kind of watch these videos in succession of, you know, start to finish. So there will be a whole new build series on this 70 skid steer. We're going to continue the series on the 301. Injection pump is off and getting sent out for a refurb. In some of my slow time, hopefully I can get back to this Husky 3-wheel tractor to get that going. I have not even tinkered with it ever since I picked it up at my dad's. It's been sitting here and I've done absolutely nothing. It will probably start right up and would be fun to play around with. So anyway, and then as always, the playlist from the 430 crawler that we restored last year. So that's always available for viewing. So please subscribe. Lots of good stuff coming up for 2025. Again, looking at some other collections, shows, plow days, and 3 restorations at this point. A couple more things on the back burner. Some more things that are top secret for now, if you will. One included that's not even a tractor. So something that I may be going to pick up today or tomorrow and add a little more variety to the channel. Because after all, Rusty Wrench Restorations is about restoring really anything. Doesn't have to be tractors. That is my passion, so that's usually what I focus on. But I do like to mix things up a little bit and keep it interesting for viewers. So, you know, you may see other things on there, whether it be an automotive thing, just tools and their uses, general kinds of things, ATVs, snowmobiles, who knows, you name it, it might be on here. So anyway, for this video today, basically, I'm just going to get this area cleaned up so I have a good solid work area to begin with for my 2025 build of the skid steer. And we'll probably start it up one last time to move it forward and get the bucket off, and then that's the last time you're going to hear it run until basically the thing's restored and new again. So we'll give it a proper send-off. Alright, now that that's all cleaned up, the battery that I had in here is completely dead. So I need to use another one that I have that I hope will fit. I think there's enough room in there. Man, what a tangled up mess. Alright, I'm going to throw this new battery in and hopefully she'll fire off. Well, that should work. That battery is considerably larger than what was in there. And there's quite a bit of wiring mess, which obviously will be addressed. So yeah, should be about it. Jump on in here and get this thing moved forward and bucket removed. So to get the bucket off on this one, let's see if I can get you a good video here. So yeah, to remove the bucket on this one, basically we'll take this pin out on the inside and then slide this large pin out to the side. And I'm hoping, I might have to actually lift this first, so I'm not sure if this will clear the tire. Let's see, there we go. Alright, so there's one pin like that on each side. Got the other one over here on this side. Let's see here, that's a locking pin for this. See how that comes out there. I think that might be it. Yeah, there's a locking pin on this side as well. And I lost some washers. I'll have to figure those out. Yeah, there's this small pin here that keeps it locked in place. Gotta yank that out of there. It doesn't play. Let's see, this swivels to the side and comes out. Alright, so I didn't need to take the other part off. Let me put that back in because that's still going to keep the frame on the quick attach section. Probably won't get it back in. There we go. Alright, so that didn't need to come out. I guess it was just these two locking pins on the bottom, which makes sense. So with those two locking pins removed, once I start the machine, I should be able to just kind of lift the bucket off the ground. We'll move forward, and then when I set it down, I'll roll forward, and it should come out of the little lip that it hangs up under. And I only need to move it forward, I don't know, probably about 3 feet or so. So I'll get this front tire aligned with this post so that it'll be in my way later when I want to take the tire off. Alright, I haven't started this thing in a long time, so let's see how she does. Tends to be a bit cold-blooded and likes to have the choke on. So choke on, key on. You can hear the fuel pump running. Give it a little throttle. And let's see what happens. Nothing. It wants to stop. So I think my starter relay is dead. Great. Maybe we're not moving it today. So apparently we're not going to start it and move it today because, yeah, I can't get it to start, which is fine. I have already pulled the pins from the bucket out, and I think if I grab the front of this and kind of lift up, I should be able to maneuver it to at least get the bucket off and out of the way. Let's see how that goes. There's one side. Watch your fingers. There we go. Bucket's off. Yeah, I think this might be a homemade quick attach. Excuse me. It's just got some little bungs welded on here, and those little pieces just slide up underneath and pin in the bottom. But it does the trick. I'll probably cut these off and clean it up and make a little better cleaner system. But at least that's off and out of the way. And I somewhat feel like I made a little progress. Don't know for sure. So I got to thinking about this a little bit more, and I went through and checked some wiring. There were a couple connections that were a little suspect, but I could hear the fuel pump coming on, but I still just couldn't get that starter relay to go. And it's never given me a problem before, so it's not to say it couldn't just go bad, but it really just kind of puzzled me. And then I remembered, now you have to understand, I haven't ran this tractor in a long time. So as I'm turning the key switch on here, I can hear the fuel pump run, and I'm pushing the key to try to see if I can get it to start, and it's not doing anything. There's another button down here that's to actually start or send power to the relay. So let me jump up here and try this again. Alright, let's try this one more time. I just need to move it forward about 3 feet now. We already got the bucket off. So key on, got my choke, and the button that I was forgetting yesterday. Give it a little throttle. I forget which way the throttle is on this one. I can smell fuel. I'll clean the plugs off and see if we can get it going. It's definitely flooded, I can smell it. Yeah, so for a flooded engine, you just want to remove the spark plugs. In this case, it's a 2-cylinder, so we'll grab one from each side. And we'll keep the choke off and just turn the engine over a little bit to blow anything out. So yeah, you can see the plugs are a little wet. Alright, both spark plugs are out. We'll just turn it over without fuel and blow out the excess fuel. Spins over fast. Alright, take 2, 3, 9, I don't know. Alright, try this again. A little bit of throttle, no choke this time. And now I don't hear the fuel pump turning on. Oh boy, let's see. Check my connections here. There we go. Loose battery connection. Maybe that was why it stopped cranking. As you can see, this is why I need to go through this whole thing and completely redo everything. Something shorter than just blew up. Looks like this thing doesn't want to move anywhere today. Oh boy. Skin a cat. I don't know. I don't have spark, but we got it moved. I will prevail. As to exactly what's going on, I'm not too sure. Obviously it cranks well, the battery's good. I've definitely got fuel because I can smell it. The carburetor's getting flooded. At this point I think it's an ignition issue. The problem with this setup is the fuel tank is down here in the belly of the machine, and it has an electric fuel pump that takes a suction from that tank, goes through a filter, and forces it to the carburetor. So if the carburetor is not adjusted right, or you're not getting spark for ignition, that pump is just constantly sending fuel to the carburetor. Now the float should, in theory, stop the fuel from, filling up the bowl and flooding it out, but obviously that's not happening because I can smell fuel. So anyway, ignition issue, it could be anything. It could be the fact that these points don't have a cover on them. I don't know. I'm not too concerned with it, but we did in fact get the skid steer moved away from the gate. So I have plenty of room to work back here. So in the coming videos, we'll take these panels off the back to allow access to the engine. We'll go ahead and remove the rollover protection system. Like I said, we've already got the bucket off, so that kind of saves us some grief. And yeah, we'll start tearing into this thing. So as you can see, it's plagued with little gremlins and problems. So yeah, we'll be redoing the entire wiring harness, all the hydraulic hoses. We'll do a freshen up on the engine. I don't know what that's going to involve yet. We may do some rings. It does burn a little oil and smoke a bit, so probably won't hurt, but I don't know the availability on parts for that old Kohler engine. So who knows, maybe it'll get a repower. I was on a marketplace today. I saw a couple Kubota diesel engines. There was a 2-cylinder and a 3-cylinder. I think the 2 would do just fine in here. A bit pricey, so we'll see. And I'm not opposed to putting in a just an aftermarket Vanguard engine or something like that. So there was a Case 1816 skid steer that I restored about a year or two ago, and I put a twin-cylinder Honda engine in there, which is a great engine, but it's like $1,500, so not the cheap. I actually think it was like 18. Anyway, we got it moved. That was the main goal. And my neighbor's dogs are going crazy. So that's it for today's video. Mission accomplished. We finally got the skid steer moved so that we can start working on it. We've got everything cleared out around it, so we have room to work, and we'll start on this project probably next weekend sometime. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. If you haven't hit the like button for this video, please do that as well. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps me out. So I appreciate you watching. Have an awesome week. Peace.